Feeling gooder, right? Thank you so much, Alexander, and our music ministry for that. And you're ready to feel even gooder. Good, because I've got something for you. A guy goes into the doctor and says, "Doc, I'm really worried about my vision. I'm seeing spots in front of my eyes." And so the doctor says, "Well, have you seen an ophthalmologist?" And he goes, No, not yet, just the spots." Just so you know, you have a better sense of humor than the 9:30 service. That one tanked, but I believed in it so passionately that I thought to try it again. But don't tell the 9:30 service. All right, all that to say, how's your vision doing? How are you doing with your vision, the vision that you have for yourself, the vision that you have for humanity? And, when we talk about vision, sometimes I get lost in this greater vision for my life, which is an amazing thing to have and to hold and be anchored in. And I also realize that, because I'm so focused on the bigger vision of the life, there are some areas of my life where there is no vision. There are some relationships that are going through struggles and challenges that I haven't taken the step to stand back and ask myself, wait, before I do anything, what is my vision for this relationship? What is my vision for this area of my life? What is my vision as I'm facing this challenge or difficulty? What is being birthed in this moment as a vision in all areas of how I'm showing up? And so I was remembering, and you probably remember this also, right before 2020 came around, as we were getting ready for the new year, everybody was talking 2020, the year of perfect vision, right? Do you remember that? And we looked at it, we were so excited about this year of great vision. And then COVID came, right? But, we got to give ourselves credit in the midst of all of that and the challenges and the all that took place as a result of it. There was something within us that asked, in the midst of all this difficulty, in the midst of all this sadness and this grief that is going on, is there something that we can grab onto to hold on to that greatest vision? And I remember that many of us were having discussions. This is giving us a greater vision about who we want to be in the world. We were reprioritizing our values, reprioritizing relationships and how we showed up in them, right? And so we were able to hold on to, there's something here, and there is a greater vision that we are stepping into. Now, if you're like me, a lot's changed since we went through the pandemic, and some things didn't change. And there are things that really I got anchored in, and there are some things that I realize old ways of being are creeping in. Going back to the familiar, going back to the busyness, going back to not fully stepping in or embodying the values that were so clear to me during this year of great vision. And a couple of days ago, I had a few people over my home, and they were asking about our animals, and I no longer have the goats. Wow, okay. I know where they're at, and I'll let them know that you said hello. But it was just really interesting to recognize that in that conversation about the goats and the chickens, I said, I just didn't have the same amount of time that I used to during the pandemic and right after the pandemic. And there's just a lot of stuff that's going on now. I wasn't really able to be with them and focus on them the way that I would have wanted. And it just really reminded me there's nothing wrong with shifting things. There's nothing wrong with making new decisions for ourselves. And I wasn't even that conscious of the changes that were taking place that made me step into deciding to no longer have the goats. It just, again, I was like falling back into what was familiar or what was coming up and my familiar ways of responding to those things. And so I ask myself and I ask you, how are we doing on our vision, on how we want to show up, on how we want to respond, on what it is that we are valuing, and how it is that we are seeing ourselves valuing those things. Proverbs tells us, without a vision, the people perish. Now, again, maybe it's not this great vision for your life purpose, although that could be it, right? Like there may be something that is being birthed within you right now that is asking for you to see it more clearly so that you can live it more fully. But it may be within different areas, within different situations. Again, imagine the power of being able to step back in any challenge, in any struggle, in any situation and saying, wait, before I do anything, what is God's vision, my vision, for what I want to take place, how I want to show up, how I want to be consciously engaged with what is taking place? For too many people, life is without meaning, without purpose, without reason, without cause, and maybe not our full life, but are there things in your life that you are doing or a part of that, if you really think about it, you're not sure what the meaning of it is, what the purpose of it is, what the reason or the cause for it is? And so this is an opportunity to become more conscious and more intentional about those things. Helen Keller once said, or is quoted as saying, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. Now the reality is that we all do have visions. We all do have visions about God, about our connection with God, about who we are. The question is, are we conscious of them? And a lot of times, the times that we are unconscious of the visions, and believe me, we still get pulled by those visions, is the unconscious vision of ourselves as not enough, unworthy, a vision that we are victims, that we don't deserve our good, and it's that self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If that's the vision that we hold about ourselves and about life, we're going to experience quite a bit of that in our lives. And we get a choice to step into a greater vision and to be very clear and bring clarity to ourselves and the universe so that things start taking place, so that the self-fulfilling prophecy is one of enoughness, sacredness, love, relationships, deepening, community. We talk in Unity a lot about our, shifting our thinking, shifting our feelings so that we can move into greater spaces for ourselves. And that's really wonderful tools. There's a tool that I believe really supports the shifting of those things, and that is the tool of visualization. Because the moment that we become more clear and we do the work of visualizing how it is that, visualizing what is being birthed through us, and also how we want to show up, all of a sudden that becomes what pulls us more clearly. And that becomes what starts to make us realize that there are things to shift, that there are thoughts and feelings that must be released and let go of so that we can step into that greater vision. It's also to recognize that, I'm not one of those people that says, well, if you believe in it enough, there's not going to be any, you're not going to bump up to anything, right? I actually think the opposite. When we have a vision for ourselves, we got to do the healing work. We got to do the releasing work to be able to step into it. And sometimes that will not feel good. And when things don't feel so good, don't they feel a little bit better when you know why you're doing it, why you're consciously moving through it, and what's at the other side? And that is the power of holding a vision that we allow to pull us consciously. Eric Butterworth says in the book Spiritual Economics, when something in your world is awry, all right, thank you. I knew that I didn't say that right. In harmony in the office, a business venture that is not working out, or a bank balance that is insufficient to meet current obligations, normally the first concern is to set things right. However, when you understand the law of visualization, you will realize that the greatest need is not to set it right, but to see it right. Right seeing is one of the most important keys to the effective demonstration of truth. Now, again, I'm not one of those people that just says, just see it right. It's seeing it right, having the vision so that that informs our thinking, our feeling, our actions. So that informs the way that we want to move through life and move through different situations. But first and foremost, before we start trying to make it right, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to experience and see? What is truly being birthed here? And again, it's so bold in the midst of everything going on to step back, to sit back, try to relax a little bit, and envision the highest good for ourselves in any situation, to be able to envision how God is showing up in that situation. And when we do that, when we do take the step back, don't we just have a greater view of what's truly taking place? We're no longer so pigeonholed in some of the smaller things that are taking place, but we start to see the bigger picture. And the beauty of seeing the bigger picture is that we see more possibilities. We see the fullness of the potential that actually is once we open ourselves up to seeing it right and to seeing the vision that is coming up. The great thing is that it's never too late to reimagine who we are, to re-envision our relationship with the divine and how we show up in the world. It is never too late to re-envision all the different things that make us who we are. Yesterday, I was asked to find the daily word for somebody from the day that they were born. And in itself was a very beautiful experience. And it was so nourishing what was said for her daily word. We must not only realize, it says, that it's never too late to begin again. By the way, how many times have we told ourselves, no, it's never too late? And yet, how many times have we, even though we've said it, not begun again? So it says we must not only realize that it is never too late to begin again, we must act out of this realization. Have we acted in ways that were hasty and unwise? It is not too late to ask for guidance, to proceed from this day forward under the direction of the Spirit of God within us. Have we failed in some attempt? It is not too late to begin again, to let go of the thought of failure, to set our sights on new goals. Have we been unloving, unforgiving? It is not too late to begin again. We can be loving, we can be harmonious, we can forgive and forget. Have we withdrawn from life? Have we been fearful or timid? It is not too late to begin again, to take even a small step towards asserting our freedom in Christ. And so, not to set it right, but to see it right first and foremost. And the opportunity for that is right here, is right now. Because at the end of the day, how many of you know that you are beginning new chapters in certain areas of your life? Beautiful. Those that didn't raise their hand, I got something to tell you. You are. Because there is a new chapter beginning with every single choice that we make. And what a more powerful choice that we can make when we have the vision of why we are making those changes. What is guiding those things that are being moved through us. And so we can envision how it is that we want to show up. We can envision right relationships. We can envision right work. We can envision right volunteering and sizzling with volunteering for all those that are, we had a breakfast for volunteers where we have the summer of zizzle, how we're going to zizzle the experience of God. But it's an inner work, right? And it's something that really we get invited to go inward and to seek out those answers. So many times, even when we do take a step back, but we ask ourselves, oh, wait, how does that person want me to show up? Well, my parents wanted me to do this, right? And our visions that we hold for ourselves are really determined by external forces rather than internal forces. There was a research that was done. It took a group of children, and the researchers split the group in two, and they told all the children, they said, it's art time. We want you to be as creative as possible. Here are all the art supplies. We don't want you to feel limited whatsoever in what you draw or what you create. We just want you to be free and creative. Now, with one group, they said, and we're going to bring some judges in, and they're going to judge who is first place, second place, and third place, and they're going to get an award. The second group, they said, we're going to bring some judges in. And we have some prizes, but they're going to be given randomly. We're just going to take from a bag. When the judges came in, what they realized is that overall, the group that was going to get awards randomly were more creative, were more free, were more willing to step into that. Because the first group, it was found, they weren't doing it for themselves. They were asking themselves, how will they appreciate it? How will they choose me? What is it that they want me to do so that I can get the prize? How many of us have been there? Where we are seeking to be accepted, where we are seeking to be told that we're worthy and good enough. And so we create visions of who we have to be or how we have to show up based on other people without recognizing that actually the divine wisdom and the divine guidance of God is within us and is a part of us and is what we can really allow to inform how we show up in the world. Now, faith really invites us to recognize that there is something greater, right? That there is a divine possibility in the vision that we have. And so faith really allows us to perceive God, perceive that there's something greater, perceive that we are being called. But it is vision that conceives how that will look. So faith perceives, but vision conceives. And together is how we can create the life of our dreams, the relationships that we have been seeking, the work that brings us purpose and passion through our own hearts, through understanding that the divine wisdom and understanding and the divine will, God's will, is the divine will that is within us in our own Christ consciousness. And so we can really open ourselves up to understanding what that divine will is, because it is what is seeking to actually take place through us and in us. We just kind of have to get out of the way and take a step back and allow it to take place. Carl Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." So what is the vision that you are waking up to? What is the vision that is seeking you to become awake and begin for you to embody it more fully? Well, don't fret. I got 4 steps for you. It's actually Reverend Michael Beckwith's steps. He has this program or this process called the life visioning process. And again, although it's life visioning, I really want you to consider that maybe it is you need a greater vision for your life, but it could also be you need a greater vision for this one relationship that you're in. You need a greater vision for this thing that is taking place at work. Whatever it is, as big and as small as you want to play with it. And so the first question is, what is God's highest vision for this? What is God's highest vision for this? To be able to take a step back and just ask, what is being birthed here? What is God's vision, which is our Christ vision for what is taking place? And again, it allows us to step back and begin to imagine and begin to see it right. The second question is, what must I be in order to empower this vision? What must I be? Like, what do I need to embody in order for this vision to be empowered and activated in my life? What are the things that I already am, because we are those amazing things that the Christ consciousness is in us, that we can lean on? Is it a greater sense of my own wisdom? Is it a greater sense of my own love and my own light, my own power, my own strength, whatever that is? But seek out what it is that you are being asked to embody more fully so that you can lean on it and that can support you in achieving your vision. The third one is, what must I release? You gotta let go of something, right? How many of you are still working on letting go of thoughts of lack and limitation? Thoughts of not being worthy or not good enough. It's a process. And as we step more fully into greater and greater visions of what is possible, we are invited to release and let go of more stuff. What must I embrace is the fourth one. Maybe there's something that we've been pushing to the side about us because we didn't want to accept it, because we thought it was too much of a responsibility to know ourselves as powerful as we are, right? But what must I embrace in order to move into it? And see, there are consequences to creating consciously a vision. We start moving towards it. And that moving towards it again, transformation is needed. And in every evolution, transformation is needed. In order for there to be manifestation, transformation needs to take place. And sometimes that'll feel good, and sometimes that may not feel good. But if we have the vision of what lies ahead and who we will be or how we will show up or how life will show up through us, after that, it's a little easier to get through some of those difficult moments, those difficult points. And we are invited to really not let go of, or just to remember the power of our faith, the power of our vision. You know, the power of our faith, it's God's faith. In unity, we believe that God's faith is our faith, that we are stepping into, that we are awakening to. And so, believe me, there is no greater faith than God's faith. And it's in us. And we get to direct it. We get to seek out the areas and the ways in which that faith will be used to be made manifest, our greatest vision. Catherine Ponder says, many people fight their good thinking they cannot have it or that they should not be asking for it, thereby slowing down its manifestation or stopping it altogether. Who's ready to manifest the life of their dreams? Who is ready to manifest relationships, right? Like, we've done this enough. Let's step fully into it. Let's do it. And we know all the steps that we can take. As we hold the vision, those steps will become even clearer. Now, in those moments where it can be difficult or challenging, as you're holding the vision, that great vision that comes to us when we ask, what is God's greatest vision in this moment, in my life, in this situation? Well, we can lean on a couple of things. First and foremost, we can lean on our principles. Our principles, that which we trust and know to be the reality of life, that God is absolute good, that we are eternally connected to that presence of good. What came to me this morning was to just think of God is in our corner. God is in our corner. But then you know what came to me? God is our corner. And then what came to me after that is God is each of us in each of our corners. And that is what we can lean on, and that is what can give power to the visions that we have. We also have our own history. We're resilient individuals. We have accomplished visions. We have accomplished goals. We have accomplished dreams. And so can you lean on the times where you have, the times where you've trusted and had faith and have seen the powerful work of God active as us in our lives? And then the third thing that, I'm all about community and I'm all about this community. Look at what you've created for yourself. A consciousness that you can tap into called Unity on the Bay. This spiritual community that believes in you. Because you've believed in it. You've believed in the people around you. And when you forget to believe in yourself, you can totally lean on the consciousness that you've helped build here. Just feel that. Right? It's like that great friend that empowers you, that tells you you can do it. To know that I believe in you, you believe in me, and we believe in us. Can I get an amen? Amen. Say that with me. I believe in you. You believe in me. We believe in us. I believe in you. You believe in me. We believe in us. Do you feel the zizzle in that? And so as we step more fully into that greater vision for our lives, we step into greater visions for humanity. As we recognize the ways in which we are meant to bring heaven on earth, all these little pieces of heaven come together and we create heaven for all of humanity. That is the work that is before us as we accept the vision that is already implanted in us. And through accepting that vision, we will have more energy because we know where to put our energy and where we are asked to put our energy, no longer caring about the things that are trying to zap our energies or get us out of our own path. We are focused and intentional. We will be more authentic because it's no longer somebody else's dream. It's our dream. It's our vision. It's God's vision through and as us. We'll be more effective because we will be in our lane. And things will show up for us to be able to live into that vision. And we will sense our true power, the power of God that is within us. More importantly, as we do all of that, I know that what we'll do is we will be living life to its fullest. Many of us have had recent reminders of how fleeting life can feel sometimes. And so why are we letting it pass us by? Why aren't we living into our dreams? Why aren't we allowing God's vision to be our life? And so this is an opportunity for us to really be clear about our vision and also just simply allow ourselves to be pulled by it. Now, I love this very quick and simple quote from Don Miguel Ruiz. I think it speaks to where I'm at and maybe you're at. We're not in a hurry, but we have no time to lose. Namaste. Oh! Thank you. I might stay up here a little bit longer. Thank you so much for visiting our YouTube channel. We post new videos every week to keep you positive, present, and inspired to your divinity. Please click on the subscribe button below and also that notification bell. Remember to share this with your friends and your family, those that you know will be inspired just like you have been. And always remember that we love you, that we bless you, that we behold the Christ in you, and we see you doing great things. Thanks and take care.